It's big dog season, and you can't stay still because you want it. Mm-hmm. Talk that talk, George. You still scraping your plate because you're hungry. Mm-hmm. Talk that talk.
Very, very dangerous thing for us.
Good morning.
There's only one answer to the question, who pays U.S. tariffs? And it's a simple one. The answer is importers, namely U.S. companies and consumers. Tariffs are a tax on imports paid by importers. It's that simple. But somehow, there's a misunderstanding about how tariffs work. Some people claim exporters or foreign governments pay U.S. tariffs, but that's not how tariffs work. Foreign countries don't pay U.S. tariffs. Instead, U.S. companies pay tariffs when imports come across the border. This is how every tariff in the history of tariffs has worked. When tariffs go up, companies usually raise prices to make up for the new tax. So ultimately, U.S. consumers pay tariffs. Even worse, tariffs can put U.S. companies out of business. Higher prices can turn consumers away, where companies may no longer be able to afford imports they need to do business in the U.S. If a company is big enough, it can avoid raising consumer prices, but at a cost. A large company can just eat the tariff, but that would hurt their bottom line. Large companies can also force their suppliers to cut prices, which can hurt upstream businesses. There's only one right answer to the question, who pays the tariffs? U.S. tariffs are a tax paid for by U.S. consumers and businesses, not foreign governments and companies.
Why an idiot's guide? Because as painfully obvious as it is, some people just don't get it, or refuse to. Let's start with US President Donald Trump addressing the World Economic Forum in Davos.
My message to every business in the world is very simple. Come make your product in America, and we will give you among the lowest taxes of any nation on earth. We're bringing them down very substantially, even from the original Trump tax cuts. But if you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply you will have to pay a tariff, differing amounts, but a tariff which will direct hundreds of billions of dollars and even trillions of dollars into our treasury.
While Trump brandishes the threat of tariffs like a bull with a bazooka in a china shop, nobody dares correct him on how they actually work. No, he will not be raking it in from the countries he slaps his tariffs on. That's just not how it works. School children should know this, let alone the ruler of the most powerful empire in human history. I suppose it's up to the child now to point out the emperor's nudity. Let's break it down in the simplest possible terms, taking tariffs aimed at China as the example. Americans depend heavily on all kinds of products from China. Smartphones, digital automation systems, toys, media transmission systems, lithium batteries, display monitors, computer parts, and plastic goods, to name but a few. Any tariffs on these Chinese goods will be paid by the American companies importing them, not the Chinese companies sending them across. None of the Chinese exporters shipping these staples out of their country will pay a red cent more. It's the American importers who will pay the tariffs for the goods at the port of entry, and they will pass on the cost to American retailers, who in turn will have to raise prices for American consumers. So yes, Trump may well earn some revenue for the Treasury from his tariffs, but effectively by taxing Americans. Ultimately shutting Chinese companies out by slapping tariffs on their goods that US importers can't afford will require other trade partners to fill the void. But replacing China as the source will be no piece of cake, especially when Trump is threatening everyone else and their mums with similar tariffs. Of course China will be hurt as well, which is America's desired intention. China will have to retaliate with tit-for-tat tariffs on US imports in a lose-lose escalation of what has been a relatively manageable low-intensity trade war so far. Does Trump, the pathological transaction man, the deal maker, the profit taker, really want to lose so much money when he could be doing business and winning? Does he really want Americans to pay more for this MAGA hat? It's made in China, of course, just like almost everything else these days.
Let's bring into the conversation Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen of Maryland. He's a member of the Foreign Relations and Budget Committees. The senator walked out of the chamber before the end of Trump's speech. Senator, good morning. So we don't know, was that a Joe Scarborough dip out to the cloakroom for a Mountain Dew, take a quick nap, and then come back in? Or was that a form of protest last night?
No, I'd had enough. I had had enough. It was a long speech full of lies. I'd had enough after 5 seconds, but after an hour and whatever it was of avalanche of lies, I'd had enough. I went and brought a guest. I brought a guest. Her name is Skye Perryman. She heads up Democracy Forward, which is the tip of the spear in fighting back against these lies and illegal actions in court. So I'm glad I brought her along, because I think we need to focus on the big lies in the speech. And as you're talking about, all of you, the great betrayal. Donald Trump came in claiming he was going to focus on these pocketbook issues, bring down prices. What he's doing is cutting services for the American people and rigging the government for people like Elon Musk, and preparing for the big tax cuts, where he again lied by pretending they were going to help all Americans when they're going to help the very rich folks like Elon Musk.
Senator, you're on the Foreign Affairs Committee, so I'm fascinated what you think about what the president said about Ukraine last night. It seemed to be one bit of news that we actually got from the speech. But before you do that, I just want to read you what some of your Republican peers had to say yesterday about the president's recent actions on Ukraine. Senator Collins said, "I do not think we should be pausing our efforts in Ukraine." Ted Cruz said, "The war should come to an end in a way that is a clear and unequivocal loss for Russia and a loss for Putin." Senator Murkowski said, "I am sick to my stomach as the administration appears to be walking away from our allies and embracing Putin." Leader Thune said, "No question about who started the war. Russia is the aggressor here." Senator Tom Tillis, who is up for election next year, "President Putin is evil, and he has to be stopped." Louisiana Senator Kennedy, "To the extent that the White House has said Ukraine started the war, I disagree." Senator Kramer, "Trump is factually wrong to call Zelensky a dictator." Senator Rounds, "Clearly Ukraine needs our support, and I think the vast majority of us are very supportive of Ukraine. They were the ones that were attacked." And then Bacon said, "Too bad Iran, North Korea, and China are not pausing their military aid and economic support." That is a long list of Republicans, Senator, that share your concern about Donald Trump cutting off aid to an ally who's been invaded by Russia.
Well, you're right, Joe. I'm glad to hear those statements, but we need more action out of our Republican Senate colleagues. So, for example, they have an opportunity to actually push back through the nominations process, right? Don't just clear all these people automatically while the president is engaged in this disgraceful bow down to Vladimir Putin and bullying people like Zelensky and our other allies, because I'd like to see them take more action. So, for example, just yesterday in the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, we had the Trump ambassadorial nominee for NATO. And I asked him that simple question you raised. Was Russia the aggressor against Ukraine? And he wouldn't answer the question. And neither would the other nominees. So, because they all want to take the lead from the great leader, Donald Trump. And when Donald Trump says something, the reality is that everybody else gets a lobotomy. I mean, they can't think on their own. And, with Secretary Rubio, you've got Elon Musk essentially having taken over the State Department, at least the effort to dismantle AID. So the reality is that we have a situation where everybody in the administration is in absolute lockstep with this disgraceful approach the president's taken. And of course, this time around, he learned not to nominate anybody who could think for themselves, right? I mean, this is a very different group of nominations that are coming before the United States Senate. They're all people who are going to, at the end, obviously, his nominees and his folks will go with what the president says, but he doesn't want anybody pushing back in any way and raising the hard questions. He just wants the yes men and women, and that's a very, very dangerous thing for us.
Good morning, Chris. It's Claire. I know you're on budget. I have always been one that has said to everybody, don't worry, the government's not going to shut down. It is really bad form, the way we do it. We wait till the last minute. But this time, it feels like the government could shut down. I mean, we have 10 days. Republicans have the votes if they want to keep government open. How firm are the Democrats going to stand in not helping them in this crisis that they have brought upon America, both with their desire to make tax cuts for billionaires permanent and their failure to fund the government?
So, Claire, it's good to be with you, and you and Joe have been through these joint sessions, and I think we would agree that none has been more awful than the one last night. But the other awful thing is what they're trying to do. So on the budget, we, of course, are going to do everything we can to fight their effort to provide tax cuts for the very wealthy and try to gut programs like Medicaid, because this is the great betrayal, right? I mean, Donald Trump is essentially screwing the people he said he wanted to help, and he's benefiting the people who are right behind him on Inauguration Day, people like Elon Musk. In terms of the appropriations, we don't want a government shutdown, but as you said, Republicans are in control here. And right now, some of them are talking about trying to essentially incorporate the Elon Musk so-called budget savings, which are big lies like the Social Security one, into their appropriations bill. And that will show us that they just want to shut down the government. So, look, we are willing to have bipartisan discussions and a do no harm approach, but we will not be complicit in anything that advances the Elon Musk effort, which is nothing about government efficiency, as you know, and everything about rigging the government for people like Elon Musk, who, by the way, got a couple more $1 billion worth of contracts in the last 10 days.
Yeah, there are the conflicts of interest, as we've been talking about. They're nibbling around the edges of trimming the budget when they're not going for the real sources of our debt and deficit. Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen of Maryland. Senator, thanks so much for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Today it is Wednesday, March 5th. The year is 2025. I'm starting this video, but I may have to be interrupted because my yard guy's here, and I think he's finishing up. And I had to put a lot of editing in this video. You know, Donald Trump had his first Congress, whatever, last night, doing some speech full of lies, full of bullshit, just the same old nonsense. Y'all, we are on, I feel like we're in the twilight zone, for lack of a better word. I mean, Donald Trump is really out to fuck this country up. And those Republicans standing around him are cheering him on. I'm like, is this, what is going on here? I'm thoroughly confused. And I'm not the only one confused. We have so many comments, so many people involved in politics, so many, even Warren Buffett has said, what the fuck is going on here? So you have all this stuff, the chaos and confusion that Trump is bringing to the table isn't doing anyone any good and going to send this economy spiraling into a recession or depression, depending on how you look at it. Donald Trump said, I've said this from the very beginning, Donald Trump loves chaos. He loves chaos and he loves confusion. And that's what he's bringing to our economy and to the United States. So much chaos and confusion. He's out. It's almost like he's trying to destroy everything. And I don't think we're going to see things get any better anytime soon over the next 4 years. Just buckle your seatbelt and hold on for the ride. That's all we can do. I think it's just he should have never got back into that White House. We were warned by so many people, even Republicans were saying, this guy is bad news for the United States and the United States economy. The tariffs, the only reason Donald Trump is using these tariffs, he's going to give his billionaire friends a massive tax cut. He's going to use the money coming in from the tariffs he's putting on everything that American consumers are going to pay to fill that hole in the budget. Billions of dollars that he's taking out to get him a tax cut, consumers are going to now pay for this by these tariffs that he's putting on everything. Is he stupid? He got to be stupid. He knows he's not stupid. He knows that the American consumers are going to pay these tariffs on food, clothing, Home Depot products, housing, everything comes from overseas. There's no way you're going to be able to not pay these tariffs because it's going to be on everything that we purchase, right down to the glasses and where is this thing made from? Made in China. Yep. No, this is made in India. I think this is a cup that my girlfriend Lisa got me from Crate and Barrel. And it says, made in Portugal. Made in somewhere, I can't see, read it. There's a sticker there. Who knows? Not made in the United States, I'll tell you that much. We had a storm that blew through here last night, and boy, it tore this down. The storm, it kind of made a mess out here, and I need him to blow off this deck before he puts his equipment up. I need him to blow off this deck. Let me see if I can catch him before he puts his equipment up because he get quiet. So let me deal with that for a minute because he's about to take off, and I'll be right back. It's going to be a short video because I had to do some longer intros. I want you all to really understand what people are saying about these tariffs and this bullshit that Donald Trump is doing. Y'all, we're in for a rough roller coaster of a ride. You know, I might be able to call him instead of interrupting the video. But we're in for a rough roller coaster ride. Yeah, it's not working. Yeah, because when you're out here, no phone works. Let me take care of this. I'll be back in a few minutes. Let me get this, because I want him to blow this deck off before I don't want him to put his equipment away, and I want all the stuff's all over this deck, and I'll be back. All right, I'm back. The yard guy's gone. We went over everything. He does such great work. I hope ICE don't catch him. Lord have mercy. Yeah, these guys, well, he does amazing work. He does really, really, really good yard work, planting, landscaping, everything for a very reasonable price. Shows up on time. He does really, really good work. He's somebody that I would recommend to anyone. Anyway, as I was saying, Donald Trump and company, y'all, we just in for a long ride. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this video because, you know, I'm starving. I'm about to cook breakfast. But clearly, video after video showing that the tariffs will be paid by American consumers. Donald Trump knows this. But Donald Trump, everybody seems to act like they're so surprised by Donald Trump of the things that he's doing. He told y'all what he was going to do. Project 2025 was also on the table. He tried to deny it, but it was there, and he's doing exactly what Project 2025 set out to do. So y'all voted for this motherfucker. Y'all got to deal with the consequences of your dumbass actions. Some of y'all just, everybody, I know a lot of black folks who voted for Donald Trump. Okay. But y'all voted for this man. Those of us who didn't, like me, I didn't vote for Trump. We're strapped into this roller coaster ride having to deal with this ignorant motherfucker and all the crazy shit he's doing and them crazy people surrounding him. We have no choice. What are we going to do? Anyway, enough of that. I need a vacation. I'm taking vacation suggestions. Earl is now in rehab. He got transferred yesterday. So I have to do vacation now between him starting to work on this pool in my backyard because I want to be here when they're working on this pool. And I need a vacation. My 55th birthday is coming up. Last year I went to Brazil. So my choices are I want to go either to Africa or Dubai. Vote today. Africa, South Africa, or Ghana, or whatever. Or Dubai. Let me know which one of y'all think I should go for my 55th birthday. I'm making my plans now. So anyway, I'm going to conclude this video. It's not going to be a long video. I'm going to come back later after. Yeah, I got to eat something, y'all. I'm starving. The electricity went out here last night around 9:30, 10 o'clock. And it didn't come back on 8 o'clock this morning. So what I had planned on eating last night, I really wasn't able to prepare because I need the oven to work. And it couldn't come on, so I ended up eating something different, and now I am starving. So I'm about to cook some breakfast, get my day started, and I'll speak to y'all later. Love you, hear y'all's comments and thoughts about what y'all thought about Trump lying to us last night. I gave y'all enough content to ahead of this video, so I don't want to overwhelm. I hope you all do watch those things so you can understand what these tariffs and what the damage they're going to do to the cost of everything and the inflation. And what is this man thinking? It's not making sense. I wanted to put in that Warren Buffett video, but that's another 2 minutes. I might throw it in the back end. I do have it. And he's saying these tariffs are just not good for the American economy. What is the purpose of this? I mean, Warren Buffett is saying clearly this is not a good idea. But anyway, what can we do? Nothing. Today is Wednesday, March 5th, where there's a lot that we could do. I can see it now, the new January 6th. Anyway, Wednesday, March 5th, the year 2025. Let me know what y'all think about my birthday plans, and I'm out of here. You all have a great, beautiful Wednesday.